Okay, Jacob Folger here, sculptor. I'm a sculptor and artist, and I'm going to show you how to do this really awesome stone finish sculpture that you might have. The one I'm going to do here is going to be on a plaster cat that I have. You also, another type of casting material which is pretty hardy is called Hydrostone, made by U.S. Gypsum. Plaster of Paris is actually very durable, and of course concrete is another option. Concrete might be gray. This finish will be done on this white, but it can also, you can do it on a gray finish. And we want our casting to be really, really dry. We don't want it to be wet. If you pull it out of the mold and then you want to do the finish right away, I don't recommend it. It causes problems. It doesn't look as good. It should be good and dry. In fact, I put sculptures on a radiator and just let them sit there overnight or a little bit longer, and then they're bone dry. You should also do any improvements on the piece if you have any bubbles or dents or imperfections. You should do that and then let it dry, because it should dry then or cure for a good 24 hours before you start the actual finish. Okay. Another thing that you'll need is we're going to use this is a Sherwin-Williams brand of I believe it's called Duration Home. It's a matte acrylic latex paint. Okay, black paint. This is black paint. Okay, we're going to use Johnson's paste wax, and I'll show you how we'll use that in a little bit. And then we're going to have some water, and we're going to have a little vessel to mix our paint in. And then we also need a spoon, okay, to measure out the paint, and we need a paintbrush or two. The best type, I think, is a stiff bristle, and then a softer, larger bristle, just so that you can spread the paint fairly evenly and quickly. And then finally, some kind of rag. You'll need some kind of rag. This is an old t-shirt, and so we can use that. And so we'll just go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and get underway here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit of paint here, just a little bit, in our spoon here, maybe about that much right there, if you can see that, and put it in the craft here. Alright. So I'm just kind of tapping it to get it to come out. I'm going to pour just a little bit of water in. I want it to be more like a stain consistency. Okay, I don't want it to be I want it to be watery is what I want it to be. And so I'll just mix it up really, really good. And it should be wet and almost like water, because what we're making here is a stain. And it's also called a wash. A wash. It's a wash, and you'll see how it works in just a minute. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Okay, now earlier I mixed up a bit of it. This is it here, and you can see it's very wet. I'm going to just pour a little bit out so you can see how fast it pours into the glass, so you can see. See, it's very wet, okay? Now, okay, so we're going to get started, and I'll show you what we'll do. So first, we need to apply wax to the sculpture as a resist. You're going to have to resist some of the stain that we've just made, or if you don't, it's all going to go in, and the whole sculpture is going to be, basically black or very dark. The idea to get the stone finish that we're looking for is to apply a resist to the sculpture so that not all the stain will go in and be black. And that will give it that nice stone look and that stone finish. And so what I do is I take one finger and I swirl it around in the wax like that. And then I swirl it on my finger just to get any chunks off. And then I easily go over the sculpture, covering everything that my finger can reach. Let's see if hopefully you can see this without my big hands getting in the way. I'm going over the whole sculpture that my finger gets. I would not do this with a paintbrush, and the reason why is because if you do it with a paintbrush, you'll get it into all the nooks and crannies, and you might as well just get a can of spray paint and spray paint your thing black, because that's what you're doing basically, is painting the whole thing. We want the finger has a broad enough surface so that the wax is not getting into all the nooks and crannies. Stone, if you look at a piece of stone, it has a lot of texture on it usually. Even smooth stones tend to have quite a bit of texture. Okay, so I just want to make sure I got it pretty good, and I've definitely covered it enough so that it's, the resist is there. The other thing a lot of people won't do is they won't finish the bottom of a sculpture. Let me tell you what, consistency, continuity, that's important. When people pick up a sculpture and think about buying it or just to check it out, they frequently look at the bottom. So, finish the bottom too. That's what I say. There we go. Make sure I got it for sure. Because once I put the stain on that I've just created, the wash, I'm not going to really be able to go back. Okay. Now I'm going to take a broad brush. This brush will put on a lot in a hurry. I want to do it fairly quickly. Okay? Pardon my big hands. Okay, so here we go. Just going to put it on here. You can see it's quite wet. And by the way, this is water soluble, so when you're done, if you go and wash your hands, it's no big deal. It'll come off. So don't worry about that. Some people might want to wear gloves or whatever, but we talked about that in my videos in the past. I don't like to wear gloves, personally. I like to have my hands right up on my work. It's about the energy and all that. So what I would do is pat dry it. I don't know, you can wipe it, you can play with it. I mean, you can add some, you can take some off a little bit while it's still wet. Things that, would be more important, like the face, for example, you might want to pay a little bit more attention to around the eyes. Have it be fairly consistent. Places where it's got a deep crevice like there, you might want to take a little bit and just shove it down in there and just work it down in there. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do is, because that is so dark in there, I'm going to take a little bit of water here on my brush and just sort of rinse it out a little bit in there so it's not so heavy. And then just wipe that. And then it's starting to look pretty good. I think I might want to go over it a little bit more. So I'll take my brush, and I want to show you this. I'll dip it in here, but then I'll pat it on this so it's not soaking wet, and I'll just go over it again. Because the texture is actually pretty sweet. It looks pretty good. I just went over it again. I'm sorry, I might pull it out of the camera view. I am the video photographer. I am the narrator. I am the artist. I am the inventor of this finish. Today, anyways, and I have to do everything, and it's kind of hard to do that when you're all by yourself in here, except for your little doggy in the corner of the room having a nap. So there you go. So we go like that. I like it. It looks pretty awesome, actually. And so there we are. Now, there's a couple things you can do. Now, you at this point, you can leave it like that. It'll dry and become more of a matte type, just flat matte type finish. Or if you would like, you could also take a clean brush at this point when it's dry, and take some wax and put it on it and wait about 10 minutes till that wax is dry and give it a nice buffing. And that would give it also a very nice effect. But this is a beautiful little piece. Now keep in mind that this is this piece doesn't have tons of detail on it, okay? And so for that reason, you know, it's relatively smooth. But if you had a piece that had more detail, like this gargoyle I did earlier, this is my hand on head gargoyle. It's got his hand on his head. Got little wings, got a little tail. I had done this earlier, and when I sculpted this piece, I left all the sculpting marks in so that the exterior of the piece is very kind of rocky to begin with. And that wash, or that stone wash that I just showed you how to do, of course looks different on this than it does on this. The other thing, on the cat here, and the other difference is I did a tiny bit of a very thin brown stain on this piece in addition to the black to create just a different look. Sometimes when you add other colors like a light brown or something like that, it'll create a different look that can be appealing too, because stone is not usually one color. But still, even like this is just gorgeous, I think. It's just gorgeous. So that's about it. I ask that you subscribe to my channel and let me know if you guys have any questions about what I do, and if you want to learn how to do something and want to inspire me so that I can teach you and show you. Let me know, and please take a look at my other videos. Subscribe to my channel. I've got over 170 uploads to YouTube. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a great day. Peace.